The Justin Robert Young program is brought to you, as always, by everybody who supports patreon.com/JuRY. Man, we're past the first of the month. We didn't lose anybody. In fact, we gained people. I see more and more people adjusting their pledge to the $3 a podcast level so you can get the extra politics content. A reminder, because we do have new people watching, you are only charged once a week for the JuRY, for all of the suite of JuRY podcasts, including this podcast, the Politics Podcast, and then if you're a $3 a week level, you get bonus headline episodes. So go ahead and check it out, patreon.com/JuRY. But enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing?
On the day that we met on the internet, I asked her for a photograph. She sent it over to me, said, I know it's ugly. And I said, girl, ugly ain't the half, look at you. Well, you got blue teeth and you only got 2 teeth, but I kinda like to see you smile. And it appears that over the years you've turned into a big old steaming pile. And she said, yeah, I know I ain't no supermodel. I said, you ain't a hand model, baby.
Come on!
But that's fine.
Woo!
Cause you're pretty ugly by most people's standards, but you're alright by mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Justin Robert Young Show. My name is Justin Robert Young. How are you doing? You doing good? I hope so. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's having a great time. I know I sure as hell am. Number one, it is great to be back here in the studio doing the show. You know, this is the first JuRY that we've done since the live show, since OPP. Yeah, you know me. And man, I'm on cloud nine. I don't know what it was, man. I've talked about on this show. I've recently had a bout of sciatic nerve pain. It has been a real bummer for a little bit. You know, you mix all that up with a bunch of travel, a lack of mobility. I'm running this Kickstarter, which is really pressing on me. And I'm not going to lie to you, friends. But over the last couple weeks, the JuRY that you have come to know and love on this show, well, he's been a bit of a bum. Bit of a bum in the dumps, living under trash. He's been wallowing in his own self-pity, finding every single reason why the world wasn't great as opposed to understanding why it was. But I stand before you guys today as you are listening to me in your ear holes, a changed man. Praise be to Alan. Because I don't know what happened, man. I feel like I just kind of, I hit a wall the other day. And I looked at everything that we have with the contender game. And I just feel, I feel absolutely lucky. I feel blessed. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag loyal. Hashtag clean eats. If this were an Instagram photo, I'd have 50 more. Hashtag fun in the sun. Can we talk about people who just use 50,000 Instagram hashtags? It's like, with my bae is the only, like, actual words, and then everything below is just a solid brick of Instagram hashtags. Anyhow. And I don't know what it is. I think maybe the back's getting a little bit better. I'm starting to pay attention to the treatment, which is good. And I think I'm just plugged back into the system, man. I can just do what I love to do every single day, which is talk to you guys in one form or another. So thank you for listening. Let's go ahead and get right into it. And we are going to start with Action News. So for those of you who have not seen it, we haven't really actually talked about the launch on this show all that much because it happened while we were out there in Utah. But Action News is live. It is the brand new Kickstarter that I've done with Guts and Glory and John Teasdale, the same folks I did the Contender with. We are very, very, very happy with it. We funded in 3 hours. This game is awesome. But there was something that just kind of got to me, right? You know, there was just something that I felt was missing from how we were talking about this project. And this is what we did. I got into a conversation with John Teasdale. And this was what it was. I don't feel like a lot of people realize some of the most fun elements of this game. If you're unaware, the game plays like this. You have news cards, which is what you guys are looking at right here. One person plays the anchor. They hand the news cards out to all the other players that are reporters. On this news card, rather, is a one-sentence description of a real news story. What then happens is you combine it with action cards, and you make yourself a little script. Everybody reads their script. Anchor decides who did the best. Yada, yada, yada. But the thing the key that turns this engine are these news cards. They are all real stories. So since all of our goals in this Kickstarter are tied to backers, not to money, backers, that's what we care about, is how many people are getting this game. We decided to unlock our news cards based on every 15 backers. So right now, and I'll tell you what, if there's anybody who has not pulled the plug on this, pulled the trigger on this, then now is the time to do it because we are only 2 backers away from unlocking this card. But the card that we are about to unlock is Jaws becoming the #1 box office film of all time. The one right afterward, at 700 backers, that is Batman. Batman hitting the screen. So you will be able to play in your game, assign your friends, and build the stories yourselves around Jaws breaking the record and Batman coming to the theater near you. Fun facts. This is really why I wanted to do this, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know how many extra games we're going to move by it. I just really, because I did all the research on this, it's what I can talk about the most. Jaws, when it became the #1 box office movie of all time, unseated The Godfather. It was then unseated by Star Wars because Steven Spielberg and George Lucas were USC friends. They began with that crossover a little back and forth. So whenever one of their movies would do better than another one of their movies, the one who lost would take out a full-page ad in a newspaper to celebrate the other one. So this started in 1977 when Star Wars became the #1 movie of all time. Steven Spielberg took out a full-page ad, and we actually have this here on our Twitter. You can go ahead and find it, twitter.com/contendergame. Along with all the dank memery. Oh my God, our Discord has just been ICU has been just on top of it. Look at this. This is an amazing tweet. What's in the box? It's Action News, the game of television news, and your wife's head. TBH spoilers. LOLOL. The dank memery. Here was the actual full page ad. It says, "Dear George, last week Star Wars moved ahead of Jaws in domestic film rentals. Your hyperspace performance package really did the trick. Congratulations to the Cantina crowd and all the forces of your imagination that made Star Wars so worthy of the throne. Wear it well. Your pal Steven Spielberg." And it features R2-D2 with a fishing pole pulling Jaws up from the ocean because he has bested him, which I just always thought was so charming and amazing. They went back and forth. George Lucas celebrated E.T. briefly overtaking Star Wars in domestic film gross. And then George Lucas and Steven Spielberg thanked James Cameron for overtaking both of them with a full-page ad of all of their characters being sunk in the Titanic, which I thought was really, really awesome. So go ahead. We are. I'll keep an eye on this to see if we go over 685 by the end of this episode, but it only takes 2. So if you are watching this right now, either now live or in the podcast, now is the time to do it. You will either be bringing about, in all likelihood, either Jaws or Batman. And who can't get behind Jaws or Batman? We're going to need a bigger stretch goal. That's from Jaws. Wink. Thank you to everybody who's already backed. This obviously is going to be a shill station for Action News until we're done with the Kickstarter. And then to be brutally honest, probably a little bit after that. But I'll keep it curtailed now. Just know what's ahead. Let's get into some of the news of the weird. There's a state of emergency. We don't usually cover some of the more serious topics here on this show, but I feel like we need to. I feel like there's something that is relevant to the audience that is listening to this show right now that they need to hear about. State of emergency, folks. As many of y'all know, I'm from Florida. I'm used to states of emergency. State that is affected very regularly. Hurricanes, tornadoes, Tiger Woods, all sorts of crazy shit. But this is not in Florida. This is in the great state of Nevada. It's about time somebody shed some light on it. Thank you for saying what needed to be said. Over the July 4th weekend, while many of us nerds were in Utah, just across the border in Nevada, they were legalizing the weed. And now, quite seriously, folks, one of the greatest possible pratfalls that could befall this nascent industry, well, it's happened. Folks, Nevada is already out of weed. Yes, Nevada is out of weed. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that a state that contains one of the biggest industries for sinful living would run out of weed less than a week and a half from when they legalize it? As anybody who's been in the position where you realize that you are up against it, that maybe that bag was a little bit more full than you thought it was, it's running a little late, your friendly neighborhood drug dealer isn't answering his texts as fast as he used to, this is a dire situation. We read now from a Fox 13 Salt Lake City article. Nevada's governor has endorsed a state of emergency declared for recreational marijuana regulations after the state's tax authority declared that many stores are running out of weed. The Nevada Tax Commission said in a statement that it will consider emergency regulations on July 13th to provide structure for marijuana distribution to retailers. It would allow for liquor wholesalers to get in on the marijuana business. Based on reports of adult use marijuana sales already exceeding the industry's expectations at the state's 47 licensed retail marijuana stores, and the reality that many stores are running out of inventory, the department must address the lack of distributors immediately. Some establishments report the need for delivery within the next several days. The distribution issue is at the center of a legal fight between the state and Nevada's liquor industry, which sued to get in on the business. Oh, you foxes. Nevada currently has appealed to the state Supreme Court. The tax authority claimed most liquor wholesalers who have applied to distribute marijuana have yet to meet the requirements to be licensed. So I think that there's also there's a little bit of hashtag the real story. Obviously, the reason why anybody's going to read this is because it's an amazing headline. Nevada out of weed, state of emergency declared. All, the laws of newsworthiness. One of the biggest is proximity, right? This is one that is a proximity to the heart to many folks. But really, the hashtag real story in this is this fight. And this is something that's happening not only in Nevada, but around the country. Weed's becoming legal. Everybody understands that. Politicians understand that. Business understands that. Which means now you have a very, very weird behind-the-scenes competition when it comes to weed. There is a well-established market for black market sales of marijuana. I know I'm shocking many of you when I tell you this. And yet, many states have more controlled elements on their vice industry. All, their gaming commissions are federally and state regulated. Many states have liquor laws. So I'm sure all of you from Pennsylvania, for example, you can only buy liquor at package stores. Unlike the great state of Florida, where you can buy it in a preschool. But as weed becomes legal, there's now this fight of who controls the spice, because the spice must flow. And I mean spice as a Dune reference, not Spice, the synthetic weed that makes people jump off buildings. What is happening now in Nevada is that the very, very important liquor control industry is saying, no. We understand how to distribute the vice. You should allow us to be grandfathered in, so while people are going in to get liquor, they can also buy weed. We want to also open up a dispensary in all of the places that are licensed through us. While other folks who are actually bringing the weed in are like, no. You don't just get to sit on your ass selling another product and then waltz on in here and do all the stuff that we have been preparing for years. So that is what's happening. Also, the fact that there's just going to be a weed crunch in this country. Like, this is as if alcohol got to be on sale all over again. This is the end of prohibition. A lot of the reason why more people don't smoke weed is because it is illegal. It's not like people have a problem with it necessarily any more than they would have a problem with liquor or cigarettes. In fact, I'm sure that there are many people in this country, maybe even some in this chat room, who are like, yeah, I don't feel like going to jail for this experience, but if it just so happened that it was legal in my local municipality, yeah, I'd try it. I would go ahead and give it a spin. I would try it. And that means that a lot of people are going to use it, which means a lot of people are going to need it to sell, which means a lot of people are going to need to grow it. And I don't think that America is ready to meet that demand. What I'm telling all of you is start growing weed. That's probably a bad thing. That's probably a bad thing. If it is legal in your local area, and you find ecology to be something that is interesting, you might have a bumper crop on your hands if you are growing weed. I believe this wholeheartedly, by the way. I got a couple friends who I probably shouldn't name that are about to get into some of that industry, and like, man, I think that it's time. I think it's time for people to do it, because I think that people are going to be in need. This is a booming business. Is a booming. Nevada will be fine, though. Nevada will be fine. I'm excited to go to Nevada. You want to know what? Here's something that we can actually find out right here. This is something that I was talking to Mitsula, who is the all things Vegas. Because Airbnb is really big in Vegas. We're going to do a little. I have no idea whether this is going to pay off. We're going to find out how many people in Las Vegas, Nevada, have 420 friendly in their in their thing, in their, let's see, 420. Nothing? Oh man, I thought for sure half of Airbnb would have 420 in their in their thing here, in their title. Like Old Vegas Charm. Whatever. Who's going to go Old Vegas Charm? Put 420 in the thing. Unless it's illegal. Is that against the TOS? No 420. But by the way, this is why this is so hot right now. Look at all these Vegas things. $79 a night, $32 a night. Close to the Strip. Dude, killing it. I don't know why I'm doing an Airbnb ad right here in the middle of the show. Clown Baby 123. My neighbors are typical stoners who think that they are being secretive about it, but they reek and you can smell it. Yeah. Yeah, that's that is definitely a problem for people. I mean, Oakland, the city of Oakland, and San Francisco smell of weed constantly. It is one plume of smoke after another here in the Bay Area. Balloon Knot says, "Wait, other people can smell it?" All right, let's move on. I want to award, man. This is just the degenerate show of the century. I want to go ahead and give out a Best Friend Award. Now, I want everybody to know, okay, that the Best Friend Award is kind of like the Time Man of the Year. All right? The Time Man of the Year is not always the best person. It very often is not a good person. A reminder, Hitler was once the Time Man of the Year. So I am not endorsing the actions of this person. I'm not. But this person, in my opinion, is the Best Friend of the Year. I know that we're early. Well, we're like halfway through now, right? I'm calling it Best Friend of the Year. This story comes from WWWL WTSP.com in Louisiana. Folks, get ready. Drunk driver goes to Slidell police to bail out another drunk driver. Come on. Best friend of the year. That man is the kind of friend. He's so much of a friend. His actions have become an example that everybody can say. You are such a good friend. You'd drive drunk to bail me out if I got busted driving drunk. Come on. That's amazing. That's the best friend ever, right? Like, that is, you're going to walk right into the lion's den, slurring your words. I know we got some Louisiana folks here. Here we go. This is the story. Here from the You Can't Make This Up files. The Slidell, Louisiana Police Department says they pulled over a car and arrested a driver on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. The car was left in a parking lot, and the other people who were in the car got a cab ride home. The police say a woman who had been in the car later went back to pick it up. She then took the car to the police station to bail her friend out. They said she was also drunk, and they put her in jail, too. The Slidell Police Department posted about it, and here's their Facebook post. We can't make this up. Last night, a car full of drunks gets pulled over. Driver gets arrested for a DWI. Car is safely secured in the parking lot, and the intoxicated passengers get a cab ride home. Hour or so later, one of the drunk passengers from the original traffic stop decides to go back and pick up the vehicle. She then drives drunk to the Slidell Police Department in order to bail out her friend, and instead of bailing out her friend, she was able to join him in jail. Lesson of the day, don't drive drunk to a police station in order to bail out your drunk friend. Now, that is a good lesson. It's a good lesson to know. But, not but, yes and. Yes and. You should not drive drunk. You should never drive drunk, specifically if you were in a place like most places have Uber now, most places have Lyft now. It is no longer cool or in vogue to be like, I gotta go, I gotta drive drunk. It's cheap enough now with Uber. You can get a ride, okay? Yes, and that's a friend. That's a friend. I mean, come on. I mean, I know that they went right to jail, right? But you could only imagine that as that dude was in the holding cell, I'm sure it's one of those tiny-ass jails, he can see out to the front desk. He would just, he's just looking out, sees his drunk friend coming to bail him out, and I'm sure that he just hears this.
Thank you for being a friend.
Come on.
Travel down the road and back again.
I hereby,
Your heart is true.
by the power vested in the JuRY show, go ahead and give this Louisiana drunk person the official Best Friend of the Year award. Let's sing it along, everybody.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, man. I would love for that to be a Golden Girls plot line. They all just get wasted, you know? I mean, it's got to be Betty White who comes to pick him up, right? Oh, it's Blanche. Which one was the slutty one? Blanche? Blanche was the slutty one, I think, right? So, yeah, it would be – all right. Now I have my fan fiction spec script for a Golden Girls reboot. Now that we – this is immediately – now all I want to do is write this Golden Girls fan fiction of them all getting popped for DWI and one of them coming back. Maybe they all come back one by one to get – How have they not rebooted Golden Girls? That's got to happen, right? I want odds. I want odds from Mitsula. I'm texting Mitsula right now. Mitsula, he's gotten name checked twice on this episode. Here, let's go ahead and Mitsula. Okay, give me odds that Golden Girls. For those of you who don't know, Mitsula is a real odds maker in Las Vegas. So when I ask him for odds, this is how odds get made for sporting events and all sorts of stuff. Will be rebooted in 5 years. All right, so hopefully Mitsula will get back to me. Otherwise, I'll put it up in the Patreon. We can all bet. We can all bet and see whether or not within 5 years they will bring back Golden Girls. Because it would be the daughters, right? The daughters that they would all end up in. I don't know. Did they have daughters in the original show? Majuba says basically that's the Hot in Cleveland show. Yeah, but it's not Golden Girls. They can't use the. Oh, Mitsula's here. Okay, Golden Girls remake within 5 years. Yes, even money. No. 130. So you are. The value is, and there's not really a value, is in the even money bet. There were daughters and sons. I got to look into this. I wonder who holds the rights. I should do some digging. I should email around and see whether or not anybody's thought about rebooting the Golden Girls. Because, that would be hot, right? Everybody, if they're rebooting Full House, they got to reboot Golden Girls. All right, now this is a new thing. We're gonna keep up on this. This is a new jury bit. Will they reboot Golden Girls? Meanwhile, I got another award to give out. Y'all know, in a past life, I used to be a business traveler. I used to fly a lot. But very often, there's some bad news out there about the airline industry. A lot of people think, flight attendants are mean, and the airlines are even meaner. They're selfish, greedy, herding you on to little these metal death tubes. Goddamn! Taking your money, making those seats tighter and tighter and tighter, making you pay for every breath you take. But in the spirit of being fair, let's go ahead and read what happens when they do right by you. This is a story here from Global News up in Canada. Well, I don't think it happened in Canada. By the way, we are one backer away from Action News getting the Jaws card. So if there's anybody who's yet to fund Action News, go ahead and hit them up right now. Hit it up right now. What if we fund right now? All right. Delta flight attendant breaks wine bottle over a man's head as he goes for the exit in the air, says an FBI agent. A flight attendant broke a wine bottle over the head of a man who lunged for an exit door and fought with other passengers during a Delta Airlines flight from Seattle to Beijing. But it didn't faze him, an FBI agent wrote in charging papers filed Friday. Joseph Daniel Hudak IV, 23 years old from, goddamn. Of course he's from Tampa. Of course the guy who could take a wine bottle broken over the head and keep on going. Of course he's from Tampa. I'm trying, Florida. Man, I'm trying to be a good role model for the state. I want to put Florida, I want to be an ambassador. I'm coming out here. I'm trying to proselytize the masses that we're all not all meth-addicted crocodiles. Alligators, I guess. Maybe we're meth-addicted alligators. Anyway, let's continue with the story. Joseph Daniel Hudak IV, 23 years old, from Tampa, Florida, appeared in the U.S. District Court wearing a beige jail uniform and sporting a scrape and bruise below his right eye. He was arrested Thursday after causing the disturbance that forced the plane to return to Seattle. Yeah. That is a problem because you are over the Pacific Ocean once you leave Seattle. And that is that. Hudak did not speak during the hearing. His attorney, Robert Finnaw II, declined to comment. Jesus, what rich-ass family from Tampa. Everybody's a second and a fourth. Oh, Hudak of the Tampa Hudaks? Hudak was charged with interfering with the flight crew, which carries a possible sentence of up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. He's expected to remain in custody until a detention hearing on July 13th. Let's get into the gory details. About an hour into the flight, while the plane was over the Pacific Ocean, northwest of Vancouver Island, Hudak went into the forward restroom, came out quickly, asked the attendant a question, and went back in, the agent wrote. When he came out 2 minutes later, he suddenly lunged for the exit door, grabbed the handle, and tried to open it. 2 attendants grabbed him, but he pushed them away. The attendant signaled for help from several passengers and notified the cockpit by telephone. Hudak punched one flight attendant twice in the face and struck at least one passenger in the head with a red dessert wine bottle. Oh, my God. As the struggle continued, the flight attendant grabbed 2 wine bottles and hit Hudak over the head, breaking at least one of them. According to one flight attendant, Hudak did not seem impacted by the breaking of the full-liter red wine bottle over his head, and instead shouted, "Do you know who I am?" Oh, my God. Hudak, asshole who's going to get thrown off this plane. Hudak. Hey, by the way, big shout out. We hit 685. That means that Jaws is in play. And now we have Michael Keaton's Batman. I guess he didn't do that voice. Anyway, Batman's up next for Action News. Thank you to everybody who unlocked Jaws. Let's get back to this story, though. So I'm going to go ahead and play Armchair Editor. I'm going to play Armchair Editor to this story. Because if Joseph Daniel Hudak IV of Tampa, Florida, goes insane on a plane, that rhymed, then the only sensible thing to do is to Google James Daniel Hudak. And here we go. Apparently other people have... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He's exactly who I thought he was. No, Florida, no. No, Florida, no. This isn't going to be great for the audio listeners, but everybody's going to... Oh, Jesus. Of course he's that guy. Of course he's that guy! The photo that they, I'm sure, pulled off his Facebook is him with an FSU jersey on, a single thin gold chain, with his girlfriend or whatever, with her Daisy Dukes. Of course he's an FSU guy. Here's these, according to Heavy.com, Here are the fast facts you need to know about Mr. Hudak. Hudak wasn't fazed when the full bottle of red wine was broken over his head. He asked, do you know who I am? Oh, God, all the pictures of him, like, by the bull structure on Wall Street. His mother's a Delta employee. No! Hudak was traveling on a dependent pass to visit a friend in China. What a dick. Hudak was arrested in 2012 on charges of child abuse and possession of alcohol by a minor in Treasure Island, Florida. Of course. His grandfather says Hudak is a great kid and he doesn't know what happened. Oh, no. Oh, Florida. Florida. I feel like I'm just, I'm married to my wife, Ashley Paramore. But to be fair, Florida's always going to be the one getting messy in the bar. Florida's always going to be the one I got to apologize for. Oh, my God. Florida. All right. You want to know what? Let's get into your emails. Hashtag but your emails begins right now. If you want to have your email read on this show, go ahead and hit me up. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. We begin. Anonymous Diamond writes, I love all of your shows. I know you've traveled extensively during your time with the Go Game. I was hoping you could help me out. I'm going to Chicago with my girlfriend in 2 weeks, and I have no clue what to do while we're there. Neither of us have been to Chicago. Any places to see or food you would recommend would also be great. Also, I plan on proposing to her while we're there, not just at the Bean. Any recommendations or ideas would be great. Well, let's start with the one and then we'll go to the other. Travel. It's really kind of pointless to just say things to do. It really depends on what you guys like to do. So, things that are great about Chicago. It's the Midwest, depending on where you're coming from. If you are unfamiliar with the radness of Midwest living, which is awesome food, great bars, cheaper beer, then understand that that's what you're going to be doing. If that is something that you'll like, then just go ahead. The cool thing about Chicago is that it really is, imagine you took New York and go ahead and took a rolling pin, like one of those like dough rolling pins, and just rolled out New York like they would a pizza, New York is the big old pile of dough, everything on top of each other. Chicago's it rolled out. So you just kind of like, push it out. So that means that there's a lot of great little areas, great little nooks. It's not like Manhattan where everything's on top of it. You walk from Chinatown to Little Italy to, the East Village in lickety-split. It's a little bit longer to get to places. But we already got a great list here. Yeah, Portillo's, Gino's East, Lou Mentalis. The comedy scene is great out there. I'd recommend going to see a game at Wrigley. Day baseball at Wrigley. Get wasted, wander around Wrigleyville. Great time. But let's move on to the engagement thing. I'm going to tell you some stuff, and I need you to remember it, okay? Number one, you're probably only going to be able to get engaged in your life anywhere between 1 and 3 times. So be precious with this. Pop the question during magic hour at a scenic location. These Facebook photos are going to be crucial. It's not hard. Look up when sunset is. Find out that hour-and-a-half window you have. Go sightseeing in front of that big-ass fountain. Somewhere that looks super cool, okay? Number 2, if you're not traveling with other people that are there to take pictures and you are relying on a stranger to take a picture of you guys, you do what I did. You hand your friend or hand your stranger the cell phone, okay? You tell him you are taking a video, okay? A video. You press play on the video and you literally just say, hold it right here, keep us in frame, don't do anything else. You don't need to do nothing. You act like you're taking a picture, you get on one knee, you pop the question. She starts crying. Here's why you take a video and not a picture. Because with the video, you can scrub through all of it and find the exact frame. The exact frame that you want. And the cameras, the video cameras on cell phones are better than you could ask for on almost anything else. So at Magic Hour, in a scenic place, have the stranger take video. For God's sake, do not let them take pictures. Do not trust a random stranger to take the exact right picture. And don't be lame and do one of the like, she said yes. Get the moment. You can get the moment if you think ahead of time. And this is what I'm drilling into your head. This is what you do. Yeah, Nuke Jello says, highest resolution, 4K on your phone if you got a newer iPhone. Ryan says, listened to the latest JuRY about authenticity and how that's the most valuable currency on the internet. And just thought you might be interested to hear that I had a dream about your reaction to hearing criticism of Action News. I won't go into much detail, but there was a guy and he was telling you what you should have done better with the game. I don't think I've ever seen a dream person look so shattered. You slouched over with your head in your hands, and I recall you started berating yourself about not thinking of all the ideas that he said could have been better. Point is, you've been so sincere about everything that I even had a dream about you being hurt that the game wasn't loved. Hopefully that brightened your day or something. But probably not to take anything from my subconscious says seriously. It wasn't long ago that I woke up in a cold sweat from a Hillary Clinton sex dream. Hachi machi, Ryan. Alex writes. You want to know what? Let's read this one now. Alex writes, my woman won't have sex with me anymore. All right. Her and I don't have the same sense of humor. I'm a lot more crass where she, besides her everything, tries to be more classy. It's been probably 10 months since we had any kind of physical interaction, and I don't want to be with her anymore. Problem is, I'm 350 pounds, and my job is a dead-end thing that's a graveyard where I work with her, so I'd be living in my car, and I would see her every day. What would you do in this situation? Would you just live it out, or I don't know? All right, Alex. I'm going to drop some hard truths on you. Because I don't know what your relationship is. But I know enough from reading what you wrote that you are not a joy to be around. So whether or not your relationship is going to be repaired or you are going to move on, I'm going to ask you to do the following thing. Get your shit together, dude. Come on. This is where you're at. You're wondering whether or not your girlfriend will ever touch your penis again. Your wife will ever touch your penis again. And meanwhile, you're ready. Here's what you're doing. You're looking at your dead-end relationship and you're saying, boo-hoo. Then you're looking at your crappy job and what you see in the mirror and you're saying, boo-hoo. Well, guess what? Your job and your girl, not a lot that you can fix with that. There is one thing you can fix, and that's you. You got to take care of yourself. You got to look forward to yourself. One of the greatest pieces of advice that I ever heard on the radio was by the late, great Patrice O'Neal. He's talking about how in relationships, everything is power dynamics. And the biggest thing that shifts in a power dynamic is one side or the other recalculating how they have estimated your power. So if all of a sudden, in your relationship, you start losing weight, taking initiative, looking a little better, feeling a little better, with a bit of a better attitude, avoiding fights instead of getting into them, maybe looking for a new job, one that pays a little bit more. Patrice O'Neal described it as, you want to know what you should do? Start working out, and every day when you're just walking out of the house, dress nice. Like, start wearing dress slacks. Iron your shirts. Not just t-shirts and jorts, you know? Start dressing good. Taking care of yourself. Getting a haircut a little bit more often. Patrice O'Neal said, start going to the grocery store in a tuxedo. All of a sudden, everything's going to look different. Woman's going to look over and be like, whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck is he doing? Now, I guarantee you what you're going to figure out is this. As soon as you start feeling better about yourself, you're going to start looking at your job not so much of a dead end. You're going to start to say, you want to know what? I can either get another job or I can ask for a raise or we can figure something else out. And your girl is either going to start responding differently to you because she now looks at you different, or you're going to be like, hey, look, this ain't working out, babe. Adios. It all starts with you getting better with you. So I want you to do that. Go ahead and get back at me if you follow up with that. Emilio writes, I supported your Patreons over time, and I've supported your Kickstarters and your iTunes albums. You know what I need? A calendar. A Night Attack calendar with Bryce with Brian and Bryce and JuRY and everyone else that you can get your hands on. I paid $10 for it and $15 not to ever see it. That's a pretty good one. I don't know. Maybe we should do a calendar. But Chryson writes maybe the most important question. It's a question I can't answer, but it's a question I hope is answered on this show next week. Chryson writes, so I gotta ask, is there any word on how the Nerdtacular orgy went? I mean, I don't know. We gave out the kick number on the show, so presumably the person that was trying to solicit group sex at Nerdtacular got it out. I don't know if anyone took him up on it, but now would be the time if you either initiated or participated in the Nerdtacular orgy. Go ahead and email us in justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Let us know if it went as well as anybody could possibly hope.
What do you say we both just leave?
That about wraps it up for this edition of the Justin Robert Young Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We are ready. We're down to 14 more backers to go before we get to Batman in the game. So go ahead and check it out. That is actionnewsgame.com. Again, actionnewsgame.com. Folks, if you have won the Best Friend Award, if you have won the Flight Attendant of the Year Award, if you are Florida Man, folks, remember this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young, asking you please to don't die!
Do you like the way y'all dressed up? Don't you think you have had enough?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.